Welcome to Logic Over Faith. We have been told a story for thousands of years. It is a story that has been repeated so many times that almost everyone believes it is the truth. But today, we are going to look at this story with clear eyes. We are going to look at the concept of God. The Indian philosopher Osho had a very strong view on this. He did not mince words. He said clearly that God is the greatest lie ever invented by man. Now you might ask why someone would say that. Why would human beings invent such a big lie? The answer is actually quite simple. It comes down to one thing, which is fear. When a child is born, the child is helpless. The child cannot survive on its own. The child needs a father and a mother. The child needs protection. The father becomes the biggest figure in the life of the child. The father is the provider. The father is the protector. The father seems all-powerful to the small child. But then the child grows up. The child becomes an adult. But deep down inside, that fear is still there. The world is a big and scary place. There is death. There is disease. There are accidents. There is the unknown. Even though the child has become a man or a woman, the heart still feels small and afraid. We look at the vast universe and we feel tiny. We feel alone. So what does the human mind do? It projects a figure. It creates a father figure in the sky. This is what Osho says is the origin of God. God is nothing but a projection of your own father. You want someone to hold your hand. You want someone to tell you that everything is going to be all right. You want someone to watch over you. So you invent a superfather. You call him God. This is why almost every religion calls God the Father. It is not a coincidence. It shows the psychology behind the invention. It shows that God is a product of our childish need for security. We are not ready to be mature. We are not ready to stand on our own 2 feet. We want a daddy in the sky who will take care of us. Osho argues that as long as you believe in God, you can never truly become a mature human being. Why is that? Because if there is a God who decides everything, then you are not responsible. If you commit a crime, you can say it was God's will. If you are poor, you can say God wants it this way. If there is a war, you can say it is part of the divine plan. God becomes a great excuse. He becomes a way to avoid taking responsibility for our own lives and our own world. Think about the logic of a creator. Religions say that God created the world. They say he is all-powerful and he is all good. But look at the world around you. Just open your eyes. There is so much suffering. Little children get cancer. Innocent people die in earthquakes. Animals eat each other alive just to survive. If a man created a machine that hurt people, we would put that man in prison. We would call him a criminal. But when God creates a world full of pain, we call him good. We call him love. This is a contradiction. It does not make sense. Osho points out that you cannot have it both ways. If God is all-powerful, then he is responsible for the evil in the world. If he can stop the evil, but he chooses not to, then he is not good. And if he wants to stop the evil, but he cannot, then he is not all-powerful. So to solve this problem, man had to invent more lies. Man invented the devil. Now the religion says that God does the good things, and the devil does the bad things. But who created the devil? If God created everything, then he must have created the devil too. So ultimately, the responsibility still goes back to God. This shows that the concept of God is full of holes. It is like a boat that is leaking water everywhere. To plug one hole, you invent another lie. To fix that lie, you invent a third lie. Soon you have a complex theology that is just a mountain of lies. Let us look at another aspect. The existence of God destroys human freedom. This is a very important point for Osho. He says that if there is a creator, then you are just a creature. You are just a puppet. A puppet has no soul. A puppet has no freedom. The puppeteer pulls the strings and the puppet dances. If God knows everything that is going to happen, then your future is already written. If your future is already written, then you are not free. You are just acting out a script. You are basically a robot made of flesh and bone. Osho says that for man to be truly free, God has to go. The two cannot exist together. If you want dignity and freedom, you have to drop the idea of a boss in the sky. When you drop the idea of God, you suddenly feel a great weight lift off your shoulders. But you also feel a new burden. It is the burden of responsibility. Now you are responsible for your actions. No one is watching you from the clouds. You have to decide what is right and what is wrong. You have to create your own meaning in life. This is what it means to be an adult. Osho suggests that God was invented not just by fearful people but also by cunning people. This is the business side of religion. There is a group of people who realized that fear is a great tool for control. These are the priests and the politicians. The priest comes to you and says that you are a sinner. He says that you are born bad. He creates guilt in you. He tells you that God is angry with you. But do not worry, because the priest has a solution. He can talk to God for you. He can perform a ritual. He can say a prayer. He can save you. But of course you have to pay him. You have to support the church or the temple. This is the oldest business in the world. It is selling insurance for the afterlife. It is a brilliant business model because no one can come back from the dead to ask for a refund. No one can prove that the product does not work. You pay your money and you live in hope. Osho calls God the invisible commodity. You are buying something that no one has ever seen. The priest is the salesman. He wears special clothes. He speaks in a strange language. He creates an atmosphere of mystery. All of this is designed to keep you impressed and afraid. If you look at history, you will see that more people have been killed in the name of God than for any other reason. Christians have killed Muslims. Muslims have killed Hindus. Hindus have killed Buddhists. Why does this happen? It happens because each group thinks their God is the only true God. They think their lie is the truth and the other person's lie is false. If God was a fact like the sun or the moon, there would be no fighting. No one fights about whether the sun exists. We can all see it. We all feel its heat. Facts do not need armies to defend them. Truth does not need a sword. Only lies need to be defended with violence. The very fact that religions have to fight to survive proves that their foundation is weak. If God was real, he would not need you to fight for him. He could fight for himself. But he remains silent. He is always silent. Osho says that this silence is because the sky is empty. There is no one there. We are shouting into a void and hearing our own echo. We interpret that echo as the voice of God. But Osho does not want you to become hopeless. He does not want you to be a dry materialist who thinks life has no mystery. This is where his view becomes very interesting. He distinguishes between God and godliness. He says God is a noun. It is a person. It is a dead concept. But godliness is a quality. It is like the fragrance of a flower. When you see a beautiful sunset and you feel overwhelmed by the beauty, that is a moment of godliness. When you love someone deeply and your ego disappears, that is a moment of godliness. Osho says we should drop the noun and keep the quality. We do not need a creator, but we can appreciate the creativity of the universe. Look at nature. It is so intelligent. The way the trees grow, the way the rivers flow, the way the stars move. There is a tremendous intelligence at work. But it is not a person sitting on a throne. It is the energy of existence itself. When you remove the personhood of God, you remove the fear. You are no longer afraid of being punished. You are no longer afraid of hell. You can start to live out of love instead of fear. The invention of God has also stopped scientific progress for many centuries. When people believed that God caused the rain, they did not study meteorology. When they believed God caused the plague, they did not study medicine. They just prayed. Prayer is often a way of not doing anything. It is a way of pretending to solve a problem. Osho says that real intelligence is to look for the causes of things. If you are sick, find the cause and cure it. Do not wait for a miracle. Miracles are the hope of the lazy mind. Let us look deeper into the idea of prayer. What are you doing when you pray? You are usually asking for something. You are treating God like a cosmic shopping mall. You want a better job. You want a big house. You want your wife to be healthy. You are begging. Osho says this begging destroys your dignity, and often your prayers are contradictory. A farmer prays for rain for his crops. A potter prays for sun so his pots can dry. What is God supposed to do? The whole concept is silly. The universe operates according to laws. It follows the laws of physics and chemistry and biology. It does not change its laws just because you are kneeling down and mumbling words. To understand this is to understand reality. When you accept that there is no God, you accept that the universe is indifferent to you. The sun does not shine for you. It just shines. The wind does not blow for you. It just blows. This might sound cold at first, but it is actually very liberating. It means you are not the center of the universe. It destroys your ego. It makes you humble in a real way. You are just a part of this vast web of life. You are made of the same stardust as the galaxy. You are connected to everything, but you are not the boss, and there is no boss above you. This creates a space for true morality. Many people think that without God, people will become criminals. They think that fear of God is the only thing keeping us from killing each other. Osho says this is an insult to humanity. If you only do good because you are afraid of the police or afraid of hell, then you are not a good person. You are just a coward. A truly good person does good because it feels good. You help someone because you feel their pain. You do not hurt someone because you know how it feels to be hurt. True morality comes from consciousness, not from commandments. When you are alert and aware, you naturally do the right thing. You do not need a book to tell you not to kill. You do not need a stone tablet to tell you not to steal. Your own awareness is enough. The lie of God has kept humans in a state of psychological slavery. We have outsourced our conscience to a book. We have outsourced our responsibility to a priest. We have outsourced our freedom to a deity. Osho is calling for a rebellion. He is calling for us to take back our power. He says that man has the capacity to rise. We have the capacity to be more than we are. But the concept of God is a ceiling. It pushes us down. It tells us we are just sheep, and we need a shepherd. But you are not a sheep. You are a human being with a brain and a heart. You have the potential to understand the mysteries of the universe through science and logic and meditation. You do not need fairy tales. Fairy tales are for children. The story of God is the ultimate fairy tale. It has a magical hero. It has villains. It has a happy ending for those who obey and a scary ending for those who do not. It is perfect for keeping children in line. But are we still children? Look at how far we have come. We have discovered the atom. We have decoded DNA. We have traveled to the moon. We have connected the world with the internet. We are capable of so much. Yet on Sunday mornings, millions of people still go to a building and talk to an invisible friend. It is time to wake up. It is time to see that we are alone here. But being alone does not mean being lonely. It means we are all we have. We have each other. We have this planet. If we stop looking at the sky, we might start looking at the earth. We might start taking better care of this planet. We have destroyed so much of nature because we think our real home is in heaven. We think this world is just a waiting room. This is a dangerous idea. If you believe this world is just a test and the real life begins after death, then you will not respect life here and now. You will tolerate poverty and war because you think it is all temporary. Osho teaches that this moment is all there is. There is no heaven waiting for you. This existence right here is the only paradise you will get. If you make it a hell, that is your stupid choice. But if you are intelligent, you can make it a heaven. The priests do not want you to be happy here. If you are happy here, you will not buy their product. They need you to be miserable. They need you to suffer. Because only a suffering man goes to the temple. A happy man dances in the street. A happy man enjoys his family and his work. He has no time for priests. So the lie of God serves the structure of misery. It feeds on unhappiness. It is a parasite on the human soul. Think about the concept of sin. This is another tool connected to the lie of God. They tell you that things which are natural are sins. They tell you that sex is a sin. They tell you that doubting is a sin. They create a war inside your body. You end up fighting with your own nature. This makes you crazy. It creates a split personality. You are one person in public and another person in private. You become a hypocrite. Osho says that a religious person is almost always a hypocrite because the standard he is trying to follow is impossible. You cannot go against nature and win. When you drop the idea of God, you also drop the idea of sin. You accept your humanity. You accept your body. You accept your instincts. You start to live in harmony with yourself. You become whole. This wholeness is what Osho calls holiness. Not being a saint on a pedestal, but being a complete integrated human being. Some people ask, what about the saints and mystics who claim to talk to God? Were they lying? Osho suggests that many of them were hallucinating. If you fast for 40 days, you will see things. If you go into the desert and deprive yourself of sleep, you will hear voices. The mind is capable of creating powerful illusions. Also, many of these mystics used the language of their time. They had an experience of the vastness of the universe, and the only word they had for it was God. They were poets trying to describe the indescribable. But the priests took their poetry and turned it into rigid laws. We need to understand the difference between the experience of awe and the belief in a person called God. You can stand on a mountaintop and feel awe without believing that a man made the mountain. You can look at the complexity of a cell and feel wonder without believing a designer sat down and drew it. Evolution is a much more beautiful explanation than creation. Evolution shows struggle. It shows growth. It shows how life finds a way. It is a dynamic process. Creation is a static event. The lie of God is static. It says everything was perfect in the beginning, and we messed it up. But the truth of science says we started from simple organisms, and we are evolving into something higher. We are not fallen angels. We are rising apes. This view gives us dignity. We have fought our way up from the mud. We have survived ice ages and predators. We are survivors. We do not need to apologize for being here. The script that Osho wants us to read is the script of reality. He wants us to burn the old books that tell us we are slaves. He wants us to look in the mirror and see the potential for awareness. When you remove God, you place man at the center of ethical life. You become the judge of your actions. This requires more intelligence. It is easy to follow a rule book. It is hard to think for yourself. But thinking is what makes us human. Questioning is what drives us forward. Doubt is not a sin. Doubt is a tool. Doubt is the engine of science. Every great discovery began with a doubt. If Newton did not doubt the old theories, he would not have understood gravity. If Einstein did not doubt, he would not have found relativity. Religion says do not doubt. It says just believe. Belief is the poison to your intelligence. Osho says that belief is just a cover-up for ignorance. If you know something, you do not need to believe it. You know that fire burns. You do not believe in fire. You simply know it. You only believe in things you do not know. So when someone says, I believe in God, they are admitting that they do not know. They are just hoping. They are just following the crowd. The crowd is a dangerous thing. The crowd has a mob psychology. It does not like individuals who stand out. It does not like people who ask difficult questions. This is why societies have always persecuted people like Osho, or Socrates, or Galileo. Anyone who challenges the great lie is an enemy of the crowd. But the truth is worth the risk. The freedom from mental slavery is worth the risk. Imagine a world without this lie. Imagine a world where people take responsibility for their actions. Imagine a world where we focus on fixing real problems instead of praying to the sky. It would be a world of mature human beings. It would be a world of science and meditation. It would be a world where love is not a command but a natural overflow of joy. This is the vision, but to get there we have to be brave enough to drop the crutch. We have to be brave enough to say the king has no clothes. We have to admit that God is a fiction. It is a comforting fiction. It is a warm blanket on a cold night. But it is still a fiction. And if you want to wake up, you have to throw off the blanket. You have to face the cold morning air. It might be a shock at first, but it will wake you up. It will make you feel alive. The death of God is the birth of man. This is the core message. Until God dies, man cannot be fully born. We have been living in the womb of religion for too long. It is time to come out. The universe is vast and empty of rulers. But it is full of energy. It is full of life. It is full of potential. You are the universe becoming aware of itself. You are the eyes of existence. Do not close your eyes in prayer. Open them in wonder. Do not bow your head in shame. Raise it in dignity. Do not clasp your hands in begging. Use them to work and to create. This is the end of the greatest lie. And it is the beginning of the greatest adventure. The adventure of truth. The adventure of being human without excuses. Osho invites you to this adventure. He invites you to drop the baggage of centuries. He invites you to be light, to be free, to be yourself. The choice is yours. You can keep the comfortable lie, or you can step into the unknown truth. The lie gives you security, but it takes your soul. The truth gives you no security, but it gives you your soul back. Choose wisely.